and common in their teaching. Be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only. What is James talking about here? Let me illustrate this before we shift gears into this distinction between hearing the word and doing the word, because the two are not the same. However, one must hear the word in order to do the word. And there is this physical connection that James understands that is a part of what he is trying to say, but they're not necessarily the same in one sense, but in another sense, they are the same. Let me illustrate. When I was, and many of you can relate to this, when I was coming up, my dad would tell me, Ron, make sure you clean your room, or take out the trash can, or go feed the chickens. Back in that day, we had chickens running around on the yard. And I would hear him with my ears, and because of my juvenile and adolescent mentality, I allowed myself to get distracted with other things, like playing with my friends and forgetting. You know, Reverend Landry, you've had children, you know how you tell them to do one thing and they hurt you, but they get caught up in aspects of juvenile delinquency, and they forget, but they hurt you. They're not deaf. I want this to sink in, because this thing is deep here, what James is referring to. So in order to do, I must hear. But there can be this spiritual disconnect between what I heard and what I do, if I do not follow through with what I heard. So when my dad says to me, Reverend Ann, or when you say to me, Ron, when are you going to the store to get the groceries?
Like last week.
I asked you to do 5 hours ago.
It's a spiritual disconnect.
Well, I heard her 5 hours ago, but I allowed my adult juvenile delinquency to become distracted with books,
Yes.
which I love.
Amen.
And so what I heard became disconnected from what I was instructed to do. And the getting of the groceries that my wife instructed me to go get 5 hours ago is just not for her, but it's for my well-being as well. It's for my physical existence. The Word of God is for us. The truth is not our enemy. We humans have proven to be that we are the enemies of the truth. But the truth is always on our side. The truth is always with us, seeking to guide us and to direct us and to cleanse us and to purify us. And when we decide to do the truth, we become the embodiment of the truth. That's what James is referring to. The doing of love is more than talking about love.
Yes.
The doing of compassion transcends the feeling of compassion. But you have to feel it in order to do it.
Yes.
To act upon what we have heard produces a habit in us that will do us well. And that's what James is referring to. We must develop the habit of doing the word. And once we develop the habit of doing truth, doing right, we become addicted to it. And I'm using the word addiction in a positive way. Many times we use the word addiction and it's something bad and or negative. I disagree with that. I disagree with we shouldn't. Some say we should not use the word addiction. I disagree with that. It all depends what one is addicted to. And so, what if we had a world in which all the people of the world were addicted to wisdom? What kind of world would we have if all the people in the world would be addicted to love and compassion? My brothers and sisters, wherever you are today, I want you to hear me. Love and compassion are not weaknesses. They are high quality moral strength. And as time moves on, we will get into chapter 2. Well, James breaks down this evil of classism that keeps people separated, that keeps people from doing the truth, that keeps people isolated from each other. Must do the truth. And once we do the truth, then we have heard it. This is the connection now between authentic hearing and physical hearing. Authentic hearing leads to action, but physical hearing leads to juvenile delinquency. I'm using that in a very comical way. But now this will not be the last time we'll come down this road, because next week, God willing, we will be getting into chapter 2. And someone is telling me here that we'll be taking a break in 1 minute. So I must obey. I heard this person say this. And really, I don't want to take 1 minute. But,
You have to do.
Anyway. I heard, so I will act. I will obey. Okay, we'll be back after the break.
Awesome,
Getting in.
awesome. Oh my goodness.
Oh, Lord. Why are you crazy?
Great.
Success. Reverend Lister and I went to First Iconium Baptist Church in Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
Reverend Lister,
Yes, sir.
Reverend, what's his name?
McDonald.
Yeah, Reverend McDonald. He knew Dr. King, didn't he?
Yes.
They church. They worked together.
friends.
Oh, wow.
We went to the same church and we went to Morehouse School of Religion, both
Yes,
of us.
yes.
One Sunday, this brother preached and the whole building was doing like this.
I heard he was about to get
He's
this building.
exaggerated.
No, that's the
Oh,
truth.
you about to get this room rocking. Speaking
Powerful,
real,
beautiful
right.
brother. Him and Reverend.
Get addicted to wisdom, you guys.
Yes. Get
Addicted to love.
Get addicted to
Hello,
love.
Grand
Yeah.
Rising, you guys.
Come
Grand
do it.
Rising. Yes. Yes.
So Success, we've had to carve out our own ministry
Uh-huh.
because we are outside. We've always been outside of the box.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm grateful
Yes.
that
Me too.
that we are able to minister to young people
Mm-hmm.
in words that they understand,
Yes.
and we're able to minister to people who are looking for truth.
Yes. Truth matters.
Yes, it does. It does.
Yes.
So great.
I like that, Paul. Marilyn and Elise, can you guys hear well?
Yes, I can hear very well, but we can't see Ron.
Well, I'm not here. That's why you're asking.
Yeah, you're not able to see. We need to figure that out. You know
No
what?
problem.
You know
But
what?
Ron,
Go ahead, Elise.
Since you got a camera.
no offense, but Ron, you are here. You're very much here.
Okay.
Say
Hey
Oh,
guys,
thank
thanks
you.
for tuning in.
Thank you,
You
Elise.
guys are in Houston. You can listen on.
Thank you.
Thank you, Elise, for that reminder.
You
So
know,
if he doesn't have his laptop, because he forgot his mouse.
so what's
So
happening?
if he were on his
today
laptop,
is
he would be able to see it.
over here.
So we'll make
enjoying
sure that happens next
the
Sunday.
Enlighten show.
No problem. I just figured he just didn't want us to see him on
I
his
was in
special day.
town
That's
for
okay.
the
I'll get you wherever.
convention and decided to come by the radio. My good friend
Marilyn,
Reverend
how are you
Clarence
doing?
Landry. And as you can see, Reverend Lister is here doing his show. So I'm just joining in, sharing some of the great news with you guys. And if you want.
Oh, thank you,
yes, we
Marilyn.
got to
Thank you so
celebrate
much, my
his.
friend.
Today is his Earth Day. So wishing him happy birthday. And just sharing some good news,
I know you know.
and information.
Yes.
So I'm live on
Yes,
my
happy birthday,
YouTube,
Reverend
my
Ron.
Facebook,
Thank you, Elise.
And my
Thank you so
group.
much.
Elise,
And
he
my
has made it
Instagram.
to your club.
so people are like,
He's in your
what are you
club
doing,
now.
Success?
Awesome.
And you know what that club is.
Yes.
So it's good because they have a visual too.
Thank you, Elise. Thank you so much.
Okay, he's going back out.
It's good stuff, you guys. Let's get addicted to love, addicted to wisdom. That's success habits. It's funny. I just wrote a book about. It's called Success Habits, where I'm releasing a course beginning of December because a lot of people always do New Year's resolutions, but they don't prepare themselves to actually maintain a new habit. So it's like it takes at least 21 days, but we're going to do 30 to develop that new habit.
He's planning another one, you guys. So that's great success.
That's beautiful.
A lot of people, whatever it is, I'm all about creating more success in the world. So people just need to first identify what is it they want to change, and then what do we need to do to help you with that habit.
Yes. Yes.
We'll go back to the song.
Okay.
Church the other day, huh?
Yes, yes, it's my kind of service.
Church down church right now. It's success.
Yeah, I can feel it. I can feel the fellowship in the spirit.
I like this vibe with all of us here in the
In
in
here.
the studio. Yeah. Yeah.
So you guys do this every Sunday?
After he finishes, the unique thing about our gathering is persons get to give feedback and ask questions.
Nice.
Yes.
Next time, I think at the next break, maybe you can angle your camera where you can get some of the logo, the radio station behind this camera scene.
Oh, okay.
Then after the next break, you can maybe move, might have to move, like maybe to that
To
side.
that side.
Okay.
Yeah, and
Right,
then
to
turn
the
your
side,
camera
to
that
the
way,
right that way.
so our logo will be in the background.
Okay.
If she
Okay.
puts that in
You
the
want to do
middle,
it now?
yeah,
let's do it
yeah.
now.
If she puts it in the middle, it might capture both of
Let's
them.
go.
Right, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, let's turn it this
Then this
way.
might go that way.
Or,
Yeah, well, that might, yeah.
okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that'll work. Because I can see it.
We're getting it together, y'all,
Mhm.
so everybody can see.
Uh-oh.
No, I'm here. I got it over here.
Wait, honey, wait.
What's that?
Wait.
Right. Can I use your pen right there?
Hmm.
Can I use your pen?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, right here. So here, sit right here.
Yes.
I'm
I'm up here and getting some knowledge. I love, rocking with some wisdom. Let me see if I can turn it for you guys as well. Yeah, there we go.
And then can you get both of y'all in there? On your laptop? No, not really. Yeah.
Um,
You can see them on the-
mm-mm. Can you scoot over just a little bit, honey, this way?
Yeah. Pass that, you go around that way. Yeah, y'all come a little closer.
Come a
yeah.
little closer.
Mhm.
We're trying to get your picture, your face in the,
We're both y'all kind of swearing.
Okay.
So you want to really too. Yeah.
Okay.
And then there you go.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah. All right.
Elise, can you see him now?
Oh, yes, I see that.
All right, so she good?
I'm great. So I'm on-
Call D and tell D, you missed out. I'm having church for today.
I
He came
know.
by yesterday, we did an interview with him. And,
Did he say Travis got a pee?
Huh?
That's funny.
Oh,
He said we're gonna take a
okay,
bath.
ready to go?
You guys could hear the music.
Yeah, ready? About 1 minute.
Just hold up a finger
Okay,
for us.
okay, all right. I'm gonna bring y'all in.
Okay,
I'll bring y'all, I'll introduce y'all, be back.
okay.
One more. And
You guys are doing such a great job.
Thank you. I was in radio many, many years ago when I was a young woman,
Oh yeah.
and I was a jock for about 9 years,
Wow.
part-time, and I love radio. And so I'm happy to be back.
Yay.
Thanks to Reverend Landry, you never know how life is gonna go.
Yes.
Yeah. I should say when I was a younger. Did I say younger? I'm proud to be 67,
Right.
but you're
It's a blessing. You're beautiful.
Thank you. The things do change. I've tried to resist them, but
Yeah, I've learned at 38.
yes,
Like it's not the same.
I know.
Oh my goodness. Hey, Auntie. I'm at the radio in Texas getting service for you this morning. It's our Sunday service. Enlighten.
I really like this platform because nothing has to change with our enlightenment gathering
Mhm.
because we've been doing Zoom for the last year,
Okay.
and so
You're
now
using something different?
we're doing it on the air now.
Okay.
Yeah, we weren't doing it on the air. This just started like 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Blessings.
Yeah, they let Reverend Landry talk us into all of this. So
I use a few platforms through StreamYard,
okay.
so it can go live on multiple social media and
Oh.
YouTube. So you guys want to build your YouTube because they pay.
Yes, I'm learning. 'Cause
I can show you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Success.
Uh-huh.
Thank you.
Sharing is caring, y'all.
Worship, praise, right back here. Right back here with the light of God. Whether you run and listen. give you a couple of songs for a break, but we're right back with the show. How y'all doing? Ready to come back in?
Yes, indeed. Okay, my family out in Radio Land. We were talking about the distinction that the teacher James is making between hearing the word or hearing the truth and doing the truth. And we indicated that the two words hearing and doing are etymologically connected, but if one does not follow through on what one has heard, then there and into the doing or the practice of the truth, then there is a disconnect between what one has heard and what one is doing. And so there is no life transformative impact on the life of the hearer if the hearer or the reader of the word does not follow through and act upon it. So before we closed, I used the word or the term rather embodiment, because James is trying to get us to see here in this text that when we get into the practice of doing, then it becomes easy. Let me relanguage that. When you and I get into the habit, now this is true for anything. When we get into the habit of doing what is right, then doing right becomes very easy. It becomes second nature. And so there is a multiplicity of transformative stages that occur in our bodies, in our minds, when we make a decision. When the mind decides to make a decision, then all of the cells in the brain comply with the decision. That's how we're made. That's how God made us. Let me repeat that. A decision does not come by osmosis. Wherever you are today, you decided to go there. All of the persons assembled in this radio station today are assembled here because they decided to come. They were not paid to come. No one held a gun to the head of either of us to make us come. We came because we decided to come. Sometimes we make spirituality so complicated and difficult that we confuse people in the process. Now let me say something radically profound. You do not have to go to church in order to learn how to do right. You do not have to go to a mosque in order to learn how to do right. You do not have to go to a synagogue in order to learn how to do right. I am not suggesting that you should not attend either one of these institutionalized religious facilities. What I am suggesting here is something that James is trying to get over to us. The doing of the truth is a personal relationship between you and God, the creator of the truth. The doing of the truth is a personal transaction between the God who is in us and the doing of the truth, which sends lights from our being into the world because we made a decision to do it. A decision to do the truth can happen in the privacy of your apartment, in the privacy of your home, while you're driving down the highway. you can make a decision, like you make a decision to turn left or to turn right. Spirituality is not hard. Religion is hard. And James here is not teaching religion. He's teaching spirituality. The two are not synonymous. And that's a whole nother lesson in and of itself. The making of this distinction that James is making between religion and spirituality. Spirituality is simply, again, a contract, a decision that you make about what kind of life you want to live. And the more you make that decision, the easier it becomes and your life changes. It does not take long for this to happen. This does not happen through praise and worship. I am not against praise and worship. I can sing. I'm not against singing. But here James is not talking about worshiping. He is not talking about praise and worship as we understand praise and worship in our modernistic 21st century mega church experience. He's not referring to that. When he says, be doers of the word, he's not talking about church. He's talking about you and God, which is different from church. Jesus, nor James, nor any of the apostles in the New Testament, none of them taught religion. They taught spirituality. Now, let me be clear. Spirituality has nothing to do, rather, with emotionalism. Spirituality has nothing to do with somebody putting their hands on your forehead and you falling out and all of that kind of thing. Spirituality is rooted in the fact that you and I are spiritual beings who are having a human experience. Let me repeat that. James here in the New Testament is teaching us spirituality because he knows and understands and believes that all humans are spiritual beings who are having a human experience on this planet. And these spiritual teachings are not simply intrinsic to the teachings of Brother James, but Jesus was a spiritual teacher. I want to really emphasize that. Jesus was a teacher. He was a guide. He was a principled person. Let me go a step further. He was a humanist who had a relationship with God. What do I mean by humanist? I mean that he was a person who loved human beings. That's all a humanist is. Someone who loves people. And this is one of the things I want to very quickly touch upon today, is that when you and I start to practice the word, one of the things that will show up in your life and mine is that we become people persons. We see that in the last portion of the text that Reverend Landry read for us. That James uses the word religion, but when you do the word study of the word religion as it is used there, you run into the word religare. Religare is the Latin term, it is the Greek term for doing the word, religare, to act upon the truth. Religion that is pure before God, James states, is to take care of orphans and widows in their hurt, in their distress and pain, and to keep oneself unspotted from the world. And that word world means more than just not going to clubs. These are not crazy people. But it involves more than that.
Yes.
And we will get into it, my family, next Sunday. What is James talking about when he says to keep ourselves unspotted from the world? He's talking about the deep economic and political and moral atrocities that were going on in his society and ours as well,
Yes.
like materialism and individualism and capitalism and religion. We'll deal with them, God willing, next Sunday and the Sunday afterward. Look like Reverend Lander, we're going to be spending 4 or 5 sermons in just chapter 2,
Yes, sir.
because this thing gets deep,
Yes.
where he hits classism in the head.
In fact, Reverend Lister, just to
Come on with it, Reverend Landry. You want to preach? Look at it. Come on.
now you get me excited.
Come on. That's what the word of God does.
That's what it does.
Come on.
In fact, Reverend Lister James, his Hebrew mind, by the Roman Greco world, they understood doing and hearing is the same in the Hebrew mind.
Now, so I was telling it right.
He was telling it right.
Okay, so how much you gonna pay me for this?
I'm gonna anoint you with some oil.
Let me not joke. Let me not joke like that, because somebody will think that I'm in this thing for the money.
Yes.
And you know I'm not.
Yes, sir. I know that.
Continue.
No, it's just what you
No,
said.
but this, yeah, Reverend, this is beautiful, because this is the kind of stuff, Reverend Landry, you and I have been discussing.
Yes.
Okay, that this, let me be careful. What you and I are discussing now, is the kind of teaching
Yes.
that
Absolutely.
our people need.
I agree.
All of this screaming and hollering and running and jumping over benches and making people shout, help me, Lord, I want to be kind. I don't want to, first of all, I don't want to cuss. I don't want to say bad things. I want to be fair in my critique, but I want to tell the truth.
Yes.
And let me say this, all of this craziness we see in the church and people not getting taught, it's destroying our people. Reverend, it's destroying our people. Praise and worship can't heal us. And I'm not against it. I can sing. Oh, how I love Jesus. I'm not against singing. But singing is not sufficient for us now.
Yes.
It has its place, but we need to be taught. And you and I, Reverend Landry, need to go ahead and start this school
Yes.
that we have been talking about.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And create a situation by which a context, an environment
Yes.
where young men and women are on the receiving end of critical
Good
thinking
Absolutely.
in the scriptures.
Absolutely.
And an understanding of the historical context that will
Absolutely.
lead to higher levels of understanding, like Jesus was not a Baptist.
No, he wasn't.
Jesus was not an Episcopalian
No, he
or
wasn't.
Presbyterian or a Catholic.
No, he wasn't.
Let me go further with this. Jesus was not even a Christian.
Mm.
Now, that's
Yes.
going to be on the test.
In fact, that was the nickname given to them.
Come on with it. See, y'all, Reverend Landry is helping me out. Reverend, I'm going to take you out to dinner next week.
Next week.
Yes. That was the nickname.
That was the
And you
nickname.
using the word nickname in a kind of way. Actually, Reverend, it was a derogatory
It was a
term.
derogatory.
Like the N word used against black people.
Yes.
They were first called Christians, Luke says, first called Christians in Antioch.
Antioch.
And
Absolutely.
when you look up the word kaleo in the Greek, it was used against persons in the early Jesus movement in a derogatory way,
Absolutely. Making fun of them.
making fun of them, Christians.
Yes. Yes.
They refer to themselves as disciples,
Yes.
as followers,
Yes. The people of the way.
and people of the way. And even more, it's in return, they refer to themselves as friends.
Yes.
This is the word that Jesus uses.
In fact, the
Friends.
early Quakers in America were called the
They
Friends.
were called the friends.
Absolutely. That's what Friendswood, Texas, were the Quakers that moved to Texas in Friendswood.
I
Those
didn't
were
know that.
original Quakers. Absolutely.
But it sounds reasonable.
It is
I didn't know
reasonable.
that, Reverend.
The professor at Houston Graduate School of Theology, that's what Houston Graduate School of Theology
It was
came.
built on that.
Absolutely. It came from Friendswood. It started Houston Graduate School of Theology.
Are you serious?
Yes.
This is powerful.
Absolutely.
These are wise teachings, my brothers and sisters, my
Yes.
love family, that we must know.
Yes. Yes, Reverend.
And I thank God. I do not pride myself. I thank God
Yes. Yes.
that God led me down this road
Yes. Yes.
and saw the necessity for taking the word out of the four walls of the church
Absolutely.
into the wider world to
Absolutely.
radio station 101.5
Yes.
FM, owned by Reverend Clarence Landry, who happens to be a good friend of mine.
When I had some hair on my head.
Well, neither one of you have hair, so it's all good.
So, thank you, Reverend. Needed that. We really needed that. But no, family, listen, I'm coming to an end. But let me assign us. Notice I'm using the plural term us. Some homework. And the homework will be next week to read at least 5 times the entire chapter of James chapter 2. At least 5 times the entire chapter of James chapter 2. And try to find out who James is referring to as the rich and the poor. When he says, if a rich person comes into your assembly and a poor person comes into your assembly, he's using the word assembly as the church.
Mhm.
And you treat the rich man with honor and you treat the poor man with dishonor, James teaches us that we have made distinctions and have acted with evil thoughts. That's in your Bible.
Yes.
And so, who is the rich man? Is James criticizing wealth? And when one studies it, one discovers, no, he is not criticizing wealth. The word there, rich, in the Greek is the poulos man. The word polos or poulos, however you want to pronounce it, potato or potato, is the crooked rich.
Mm.
People who use their money to oppress others. And James will teach us in the text that money does not make you corrupt.
No.
Cash does not corrupt you. You were already corrupt before you got cash. Cash is the misuse of money
Yes.
to oppress and to exploit.
Mhm.
And so we will run in upon this, my family, next week. Because in the text next week, we will see James undermining capitalism,
Mm.
not cash.
Mm.
The misuse of cash.
Mm.
We will find in the 2nd chapter of the book of James, James castigating individualism, capitalism, materialism, and classism. These are four evils that are afflicting the Western world. And the book here, the writer here, the mentee of Jesus, is teaching us to live a different kind of life. Wealth does not corrupt you. You can use your wealth for the highest good.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But we have to be people of character
Yes.
and ethics and high-class morality.
Yes.
May God bless you and keep you, is my prayer. And I pray that each one of us shall have a beautiful week. If there's any other thing that you want to say, I'm going to turn it back over to Reverend Ann Kay Lister, who has got her hand in the air. Perhaps she wants to say something to me. So, Reverend Ann.
Actually, Paul, you can take us to break. After break, we're gonna ask for feedback. So we're gonna bring you in success and
Yes, please. We
get
want to read.
feedback from you.
Awesome.
And Elise has some feedback. I believe, can we get her on air? Elise, she's on the ones who are on Zoom. We can't hear them, okay,
But we can get her.
but with success.
Okay, because she's here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Oh, Paul,
Good.
don't we have a call in?
You just answer that phone. Yeah, good line I hooked up. Your phone line.
Oh, okay. That's what it is.
Yeah.
We gotta get
Elise,
that done. You know what, Paul? I need to get with you.
Yes,
Cohen.
thank you.
what is
with other
your
equipment, you think?
feedback so we can,
Yeah.
so I can
Because this
say
week
it,
we're
so
supposed
I
to go
can
ahead
ask or give
and
it.
look at this.
Because
Yes.
Unfortunately, we can't get you on air.
And
But that's
new
okay. I just want to ask
Did it on
everyone,
your
when
phone
you're
system?
saying that we hear and we do right, how do you hear right? How do you know when you have heard right in order to do right?
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you, Elise.
Elise,
Yeah, just start something. Just turn it up. That was pretty loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty loud. That was,
Elise, thank you so much.
you know,
Can I,
that sounds pretty loud.
Okay,
Turn it all the way up.
can
You
I
just put the microphone like this.
okay.
begin with a little humor
Computer, and then we just-
Oh,
and a little comedy in responding to
oh,
you?
that was her on the speaker?
Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
On her phone?
No, I'm from
So,
laptop.
off a laptop.
Sure.
Okay.
Hi, Abby, we're on the air.
It's a lot of confusion. That's right.
Thank you for coming, Abby.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, that's your page. Huh?
I am.
Abby, thank you,
live.
my friend.
You are.
People on and off. It's at 43 minutes now.
Wow.
Hi. Goodbye.
One second, guys.
People making comments
Okay.
too. Huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's content. So it'll be video
One
that
second. I will
I
respond.
can send you guys to, but it's going live right now.
Awesome.
I told her I'm gonna show her how to do it
Okay.
because it's on
Yes.
YouTube, Facebook,
So do you?
Elise asked a question.
Okay.
Yeah, honey, but we're
Yeah.
not on yet.
and then I have
Oh, wait
Instagram
till
here.
Paul brings us back in.
Oh,
No,
okay.
we can talk though. We can talk.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
So all these
Yeah, we're
platforms,
just-
you know, you
we're
want to
just
have.
We're just
listen,
talking
that's not-
presence
about what we're gonna do when
Okay.
Paul
Bring
brings
this
us
to a
back in.
whole nother.
So we're not back in.
thinking.
No.
And just by virtue of us working with
She knows that.
Daily,
We're out- we took a break.
Maxwell,
I was talking
the
to
radio
Elise.
station,
Oh.
Augusta,
So-
we can really do some serious.
She asked the question, but she didn't know. She didn't know.
So when that's.
That's
time
what-
we took a
use
break,
that young
so I
mind.
asked Elise the
I
question.
got you.
And then when we come back in.
I got
Okay, sure. Sure.
you. No, I'm not sure, but I got you.
Well, I hear you. Look,
So.
I hear you.
Paul, if you don't learn how to have you'd be crazy tomorrow.
I know.
Did you
You hear me?
Did you hear me?
Yes, I did.
Good. So do me.
Okay.
Or do you?
Now I would say you understand.
When I said do me, he looked at me strange.
That's what I think it is. Sometimes people hear and they don't understand.
I know. I know.
So you gotta have understanding and have proper action.
So Elise, according to our general manager, we should be able to hear you ask your question
General managers
online,
in the house.
over here, because
This
we
is my
have the microphone
YouTube,
right by,
Facebook,
I have the
and my
microphone right by my laptop.
Then I have Instagram. Yeah. So StreamYard.
Okay.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yeah.
That's something
What are
new.
you on up there?
This is like Instagram.
Okay.
So StreamYard allows you to
I have
go.
another platform you can put all of
Really? Technically, too.
it. He was saying that, but I'm like not that technical. I can just figure things
You
out.
know the software we need
Right.
anyway. Once
Yeah.
y'all gonna have the software, right?
Yeah.
She said she did a life coaching. You do life coach too?
I do success coaching.
Success coaching. That's the success coaching for geared for
The actual thing they want to accomplish.
guys.
So that
It's
it
your
can
whole
be
life.
big, small, you know.
Yeah.
Just do one thing at a time. I can't do your whole life in one
Right.
session.
Life coaching, boy, that's psychological and social problems.
Right.
Like you deal with a person's whole life.
Yeah, yeah.
That's more like,
Personal
that's more like
development.
therapy. That's more like
Yeah,
therapy.
right.
Like coaching. I get it.
It can be that. Sometimes, you know, when you're a coach, you really want to pull certain things out of the person.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So give them the tools and tactics.
Yeah, right. Give me an eye.
Right.
Help people motivated. Help being persistent. Right?
Consistency and persistence.
Persistent, yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. Come back here. Okay.
Yeah, this feels like home. Like I have a studio in Lemert Park, but it's nothing like this. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
Lemert
This is-
Park.
Yeah.
I know where that is.
yeah.
Off of Crenshaw.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
My nonprofit is called House of Success. I help people go from homeless to home ownership. So I have the studio there for artists that are working, trying to get their stuff together, record it.
Yeah, we have the same things out here. We have the same things going on.
Right, that's what I told him. So we're gonna do the housing.
Yeah, this is the east side of town. Mostly blacks and Hispanics over here.
Yeah.
Along a lot of industrial sites. So, you know, most major cities, the east side is right where the industry is, right?
Okay.
Sometimes the hoods, it's country.
I'm in both, because that would be considered the hood. So,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Mhm.
that way.
But actually, sometimes the hood is very valuable and profitable.
Very.
I've always said there's
It's a lot of great things, you know, that
I always say
area.
lots of there's poverty, but there's also creativity. There's
Mhm.
always find those gems, those unicorns.
Gotta come out and see, because there's definitely a lot of great black businesses.
Oh my God.
They've been revamping a lot of stuff. Barbara Morrison, she has her Performing Arts Academy. My children get, you know, free piano, guitar. You know, they have a lot of great stuff going on right there in the community. Everyone, we have a Black African Drum Circle market, so people come out and they're able to sell their things like right there on the street.
Mhm.
Wow.
And it's like, it's real great because, you know, trying to get a building over there, it's very costly, but to be able to come and, you know, if you have shea butter or jewelry, whatever, you know, people can come out and get their business supported.
That's what they're doing right now. Sunday, every Sunday, Sunday Funday. I mean,
Oh,
turkey,
yeah.
You know, turkey leg have yet?
Mhm.
You heard about it? I think they had an event of turkey leg. Your people, Damien did, not Damien, but
So on the mirror?
yeah, one night they went to turkey leg. Not the mirror, but the other guy, David Monte.
Imanite?
Imanite?
Yeah, that's my mentor.
Yeah, they supposed to be something.
Yeah, he does a lot out here. His
Yeah.
Believe Nation, he has an event out here. He does a lot of stuff.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I just finished his coaching program, Believe to Win. Very, very transformational.
Really?
Very transformational. I would say it really shows you 90% of success is spiritual.
Yes, yes.
It is. How you believe.
Yeah,
Faith.
yeah, you have to believe. So
Believe what you're doing.
Yes,
That's
yeah,
we're gonna impact 1 billion people and become believers.
yes,
So
Yes.
that's basically the difference of what you believe, what
yes,
you will manifest.
absolutely.
Remember that. We got to say again on radio.
Uh-huh.
Keep that when we go live. Huh? Okay, you ready?
Uh-huh,
That's good. I'm bringing you in.
okay.
You guys keep it ready to go Zoom. Well, let me see. Let's just you can leave it right there. You can hear right there. You can hear it. They can hear you. That's right there.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
You guys, we're live. Thanks for tuning in and hanging with us all day, guys. I know you probably can't hear the songs,
I'm on one.
but you get behind the scenes. Take some good notes.
Thank you very much, Paul. Welcome back, family. We're so glad that you are here with us. We don't take that for granted because you are supporting us. We're able to have this ministry. I want to now acknowledge our listeners who have questions for Reverend Ron. And I believe that Elise has a question for Reverend Ron to respond to. So, Elise, go ahead.
Reverend Ron, my question is, if you are to hear and do the truth, how do you hear aright to know it is the truth?
Thank you, Sister Elise, for the question, because it is a very essential question within a very essential, that necessitates, a very essential response. It has to do with the intention of the hearer and the intention of the communicator. Let me illustrate. If one lives in Houston and one is trying to get from Houston, Texas to San Antonio, Texas, the person giving the direction to the motorist must give them proper direction. I-10 West is what the communicator must articulate to the person hearing the direction. And so there is a responsibility on those of us who teach, those of us who are artisans of the truth, those of us who are adults, who are supervisors of children, those of us who teach in the public school system, even the politicians. It is the responsibility of those who are in power and positions of authority and people management to be responsible for the telling of the truth. And so the communicator must clearly let the motorist know that I-10 West will take you from Houston, Texas to San Antonio. If the hearing of the word from the communicator reaches the ear of the recipient, the motorist will then act upon what she has heard and arrive in San Antonio within 2.5, maybe 3 hours, depending on how many stops the motorist decides to take. So there has been this connection. There has been this connection between hearing and doing. Why? Because there was a pure intention taking place between the person giving the direction and the person receiving the direction. And there was a connection. and that was a result. So there must be this intention, responsibility on the part of both the communicator and the hearer. Let me put your question, your very critical question, into a religious context. People go to church for different reasons. There are some people who go to church to look around for a mate. There are people who go to church to make themselves feel good and to say, and I went to church today. There are people who go to church to show off their new suits and new dresses. People go, and this is not only from a Christian perspective, this is true from a religious perspective. This happens in the mosque, at the synagogue, at the temple. People have different reasons for attending the religious assemblies. It's not always to be on the receiving end of the truth. It depends on the person. What is the intention of the person? And then, and Sister Elise, I'm going the long way in answering the question, so bear with me. It's a long answer. I know you didn't expect to get a short answer from me. So if you bear with me. Your question is an essential one, and it demands, I think, a kind of an in-depth explanation, because there is this double-edged responsibility that ends up with a production of the truth in the hearing, and that has to do with the responsibility of the communicator in the church, in the mosque, in the temple. The imam must exegete the Quran. The preacher, teacher, must do his or her homework and exegete, like James did, the teachings of Jesus. There is this moral responsibility that those of us who teach must take seriously. And this kind of takes me on a different road in responding to your question, but I'm going to not go down that road. But let me say this. There is this failure, this serious lack of responsibility that I see, that I've observed in the preaching business. That in many instances has an unproductive result. There are preachers, there are communicators who are responsible for telling the truth, whose only intention is to make people shout, not to make them think about what is being taught. So, Sister Elise, let me stop there and let you grade me to make sure that I have somewhat answered your question. And you have to take responsibility for the longevity of my response, since your question was so deep. Sister Elise.
Okay, I take responsibility. Okay.
No,
And she knows you well.
at least partial responsibility for the longevity of my question, because of the depth
Oh, my
of your
Reverend,
question.
I love you so much.
I'm trying to create an excuse for talking so long. Can you play with me? Okay.
Okay, I get it. Both the listener and the teacher have to be responsible.
Yes.
They have to have the right intention. The teacher particularly has to be pure of heart with right intention and do no harm in sharing or guiding another. I think I got it.
Yes.
So what happens sometimes is like some of the examples you've given us though are that some teachers are not right intended.
That's right.
Okay, so I'm good. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Elise. Thank you, Elise. And let me end with this for others who are listening. The illustration that I used in answering Sister Elise's question, I really had that experience years ago when I was living out in California. I was living in Pasadena at the time. I was a student at Fuller Theological Seminary, and I was taking a walk down the street, and this lady came up and beside me and asked me, "Mister, can you tell me the way to Interstate 210?" And lo and behold, Reverend Landry, I gave her the wrong direction. But it was after she left and thanked me for giving her the direction that it occurred to me that I had told her the wrong way. And I said, "Oh my God, I told that woman the wrong way." Well, about 5 minutes later, here she comes. She came back. She said, "Sir, I-10 is not, 210 is not that way." I said, "Ma'am, I prayed for you to come back." I prayed for you to come back because I felt so bad after it dawned on me that I had told you the wrong direction.
Well, at least you repented.
At least I repented. And what is repentance? Repentance is nothing but to rethink,
Think, change your mind.
to change your thinking.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So when she came, pulled up again, she said, 210 is not that way. I said, "Man, it sure is. It's the other way. If you turn around, go
Turn
the
around.
other way,
That's what repent.
and keep on going, you run into I-10. Well, I never saw her again, so I guess she did find out.
What's interesting, Reverend Lister, same thing in the Hebrew, that the teacher, the learner, and the student is the same.
Yes, yes.
Reverend Landry, you're hired.
I don't want.
Repeat what you just said.
In the Hebrew mind, the teacher, the learner, and the student is the same. You and I have been to seminary.
That's right.
We teach, but we're also the learner as well,
Yes,
and the student,
absolutely.
All at the same time.
all at
All
the same time.
Yes.
So it
You
answers.
know, I knew you were smart.
I would pause.
I just didn't know how much. That's true.
It is. Just like the doer and the hearer in the Hebrew mind is the same. And that's what's wrong in our Western culture, is that we have all that disenfranchised. It's all separated. Everything, Diablo, Satan, but it's all
In other
divided.
words, in the Western world, you're right. We live in a dualistic world. In other words, I can tell you what to do, but I don't have to do it.
That's correct. And that's our Western thought. That's totally anti-God. Totally.
This is powerful stuff because I am not under any kind of moral, spiritual obligation to practice what I teach. That's what you're saying,
That's exactly it.
and it creates disconnection.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It
Yes.
creates confusion
Yes,
Absolutely.
it does.
because I'm saying one thing in the pulpit, but my life is indicative of something other than what I'm
Absolutely.
talking about.
Therefore, the teacher, the student, and the learner is the same.
Now, we're not talking, my brothers and sisters, here about perfection. We're talking about intention. The two are not the same. The word teleos in the Greek means to be headed in the right direction.
Yes.
To be headed in the right direction doesn't mean I have reached the destination of the direction that I'm on. It means to have the pure intention of going down the right road that will take me to my destination. A child is not an adult, but she's on the right road.
Yes. And therefore, the word perfection in the Greek means maturity. They have nothing to do with sinless.
It's maturity.
Absolutely.
That's
I'm,
right.
I'm getting there.
Teleos.
Yes.
Maturity. That's what
Yes.
it means.
Yes.
Oh boy. It's in the progressive tense,
It's in the progressive tense.
not the perfect tense.
That's correct.
This thing is deep.
Progressive, not the
Yes.
perfect.
That's correct.
And this is what James is referring to when you look into the grammatical structure. Be ye doers of the word.
Yes.
You find also the progressive. In other words, keep on doing the
Yes.
truth.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Keep on doing the truth. And ultimately, you become one with the truth.
Yes.
You become what Jesus called the light of the world.
Yes.
And one needs not just to point to Jesus and to say, he is the light of the world. No, Jesus says, you are the light of the world.
Yes.
In the same chapter
Yes.
where he says, I'm the light of the world, he teaches,
Yes.
you are the light of the world.
Yes.
How does this happen?
Yes.
Through spiritual growth,
Yes.
through maturity,
Yes.
through taking out of us what should not be in us. And that's where that illustration comes with looking in the mirror.
Yes.
That's a metaphor.
Yes.
What does James say? A person who hears the word and doesn't do the word
Yes.
is like a person who looks into the mirror. He's using the mirror in a metaphorical sense. He's not talking about a physical mirror. The word mirror here means to acknowledge what you see in your life. Quit saying you're not a liar when all you do is lie. Quit saying that it's okay when it has destroyed your family.
Yes. Yes.
You must have the courage to acknowledge what you see in your life. That's how James is using the word mirror,
Yes.
to acknowledge what you see.
Yes.
Now these are not condemnations, my family. And that's what we do in the church so many times. We try to send people to hell.
So true, Reverend Lister.
God is not walking around the earth trying to send people to hell.
That is so true.
Okay?
It
God is
so
not
true.
in the business of trying to
That
see
is
how
so
many people
true.
he can get in hell.
Yes. In fact, he loved them greater than him.
And now, thank you. And this business of going to hell is a misunderstanding. Do you know what hell is? Hell is cancer. Cancer is hell.
I've experienced that.
Reverend Landry has experienced that.
Absolutely.
Isn't it, Reverend Landry?
Yes.
It's
it
hell.
is.
On
My wife suffered.
the patient
Absolutely.
and the family.
And the caregiver. Absolutely.
Joblessness is hell. Okay?
Dementia.
Dementia is hell. War is hell. So with all of these manifestations of hell, what in the hell do we need to believe in hell for? See, this is why I can't preach in the church.
Stay in mind.
And I
Reverend
don't want
Lister,
to.
Jesus used illustrations in the Gospel of Matthew. Here's the illustration. He said, no man take a candle and put it under a bed. He said, you put it on a lampstand so
So
everybody can see. He said, let your light shine, that men may see your good works
Yes.
and glorify your Father which is in heaven.
Yes.
So you don't hide it. It's so to be doers, you are that light.
You become the embodiment of the light.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's right.
And a light is a light is a light.
That's right.
And darkness is the absence of light.
It's
Not the opposite. It's the absence
of light.
of light.
See,
Light has no opposite.
That's right.
None.
Jesus was a new thought teacher.
Yes, he was.
He was a new thought teacher. See, new thought people think they came up with something new. No, he didn't. Jesus is teaching us if we change our thoughts, we change our lives.
Yes. Yes.
God has given us authority over our thinking. Let me repeat that.
Yes.
Be ye doers. James didn't say pray about it, didn't do. See, we blame everything on prayer. Or you got to pray about it. No, just do it. I got to pray to see if God wants me to do it right. No, just do it. Just do it. That's an action of the mind. This is powerful stuff, saints. It's an action of the mind. And once we act upon the mind, what the mind is telling us to do for our highest good, it becomes joy unspeakable and full of glory.
Yes.
Your life changes.
Yes.
And Reverend Landry, this is what we need to take to the parks.
Yes.
When the city opens up,
Yes.
takes to the parks,
Yes.
assemble people around,
Yes.
okay? Young people,
Yes.
okay? And teach them this stuff
Yes.
so they can fall in love with the God who is in them.
Yes.
Yes.
Again, Reverend Lister, the heart and the mind in the Hebrew is the same.
That's right. It is the same. In
Yes, it is. The problem is that our mind got to catch up and be renewed.
that's it.
Our heart
It's the same thing.
is the same.
There is no
My
separation.
spirit, absolutely. Absolutely.
Reverend Ron and Reverend Landry, I would like to get another female voice
Okay.
in this
Okay.
conversation.
All right.
I would like to bring in beautiful success.
It's a revolution, you know.
Yes, that's so true.
So Success, we would love to hear your feedback.
Oh, wow. I'm just completely enjoying this conversation and being in a room full of wisdom. I'm over here taking notes and soaking it up. I completely appreciate everything that you have been sharing today, Reverend. But if I may add with the caller, I would also say understanding, just because someone is communicating something to someone, before you can take action, you have to really understand. So if you can't comprehend the clear, even with the intention, like I really want to listen and understand you, but I just don't understand that language, so you kind of have to speak to people in their layman terms and make sure, you're around the corner or you're 15 minutes, sometimes be like, I'll be there in 5 minutes. So that's 20 for them, so making sure we're speaking the same language or having a clear understanding so that the message can be communicated so people can take proper action. I think is important too. But I would also say hearing the truth and doing the truth. Man, that is super big because a lot of us know what we're supposed to do, and for some reason we still don't do it. New Year's is coming, and we hear a lot of people getting ready for those resolutions. Whether you're going to stop smoking, you're going to eat healthy, whatever it is that you want to do in your life. You have to accept the truth and also be disciplined to do the work, even when it's hard. So developing that heart, that mind, so that it's literally a natural way of being. You create these habits daily when you wake up, and I meditate every day for divine guidance and wisdom, so I can see God, hear God all around me. And like when you say just being that light, you never know whose life you're going to change or who's going to impact your life. So it's so important to be doing these things. So I'm so excited and blessed to be able to be here. It was not planned. I just happened to be in town and definitely had to come see Reverend Landry. He's such a wonderful honor and pleasure to know, and I'm so happy to be able to meet you guys as well. I'll be tuning in wherever I can to this show, definitely, because it's my kind of church.
That's great
Thank you.
Success. It's such a blessing to meet you today. And everything that you just said resonates with me because I am a promoter of healing. I know that the work is important, and I've been doing my work for 26 years, and it's very challenging, but it's worth it it's kind of like, this is a terrible analogy, but I'm going to use it. It's sort of like castor oil. It tastes terrible, but it's good for you. And once you're clean, which is progressive, because it does take a lifetime to grow into who you are becoming. Actually, I think that you, and this is very radical, I think that what we don't get here on this side, we go into the next life with it. And we continue to grow and grow and grow, because to me, life is forever. Life continues. We go from one life to the next life. And so I really, really appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I definitely feel welcome. And being a humanist, I need a shirt now that says that, someone who loves people, because I really, really love people, just connecting with people. You never know what little information you can share that can change someone's life and, help them on to the next round of success in their life. I'm all about helping people create more success. So that is why I changed my name, because when you speak it, you attract the things that you speak. You attract the things that you're thinking. So when you say you change your thoughts, you change your life, I'm changing my whole environment.
Yeah.
So the company you keep, the songs you listen to, anything you allow to entertain your energy, your spirit, your being. And I have to give it up to my mentor, David Imani with Believe Nation, because his coaching and talks about this is truly what's helped me excel doing this.
That's wonderful. Well, we have about 10 minutes left. Angela just came on. Angela, would you like to share?
Hey, everybody. Yes, I would. Hello, Reverend Ann and Reverend Ron. Happy birthday to you. I'm not going to be able to stay. Of course, I missed the entire speaking. I'm in the middle of taking a social emotional learning class facilitated through yoga, and it's a 5-hour class on Saturday and Sundays. And so I'm on one of my breaks, and so I just wanted to chime in, give everybody love, and tell you that I'm so appreciative of both of you and what you've poured into me, Reverend Ron. I enjoy every single time I hear you speak on anything. It doesn't even really have to be anything biblical. Just to hear you speak, I love it, I love it, I love it. And I feel so, honored that I'm in you guys' network. So I just wanted to take the time to just say hello and to say happy birthday. I'm a poet. I'm not a singer. And if I was, I would just sing happy birthday to you. But I didn't get that gift, and I know how to stay in my lane. So, with that being said, I'm not going to keep you guys. I'm going to hop back into my other Zoom call before my break is up. But I just wanted to extend my love, my appreciation, and extend my gratitude to Reverend Ron, to these gatherings that you all have been facilitating, because I'm definitely getting something out of it. And even if I'm not here every Sunday, you know that I'm here in spirit. But what you do teach, I take notes and I reflect back. I'm in the business of being a better human than that I was the day before. And the only way I can do that is I have to acquire these tools to help me. And so you guys have been a part of my my toolbox of trying to just do better and be a better human, just overall. So I love you. That's it. I'm not going to take up any more time.
Thank you so much.
We love you too,
Love you so
Angela. Thank you so much for thinking of us on your break. And we will see you
Oh,
soon.
yeah, most definitely.
And-
Most definitely, no problem.
And-
Continue. I wish I could stay, but have a wonderful week, and I pray that God will continue to give everyone on this grid the covering that they need through the week.
Thank you,
Thank
Angela, and
you.
give our love to your boys.
Thank you, Angela.
I most certainly will. You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I'm Angela Guillory is a spoken word poet. I mean, she is phenomenal. She's local, and we are so blessed to know her. We met her about 3 or 4 years ago. So we're so blessed to know her. Well, we have about 17 minutes, Paul. Does anyone else have anything to say? Success, would you like to share with us more of what you're doing in your work?
Sure. Well, I actually was out here because I love education. I feel like being like a life learner is definitely key. You can always learn new things, talents and skills. So I actually came out here to further my financial education. So I am a part of Academy called I Am Academy, where we're on a mission to really educate the world and let them know about other ways of developing currency and finances and really becoming better people. Because with me, it's always people first, and at the end of the day, if you know something that can help change your family life and legacy, share that with others. Don't be like, I know real estate, I know a few things, but anytime I have knowledge, I love to share it with others. Like even when you mentioned the technology, I'm like, I just learned how to do this not too long ago, but I noticed that, it can get the message out. And that's what's important, us being able to communicate with you guys. Thank you for joining in and listening, because it's all about sharing that information. We shouldn't, learn something and harbor it. Our gifts and our talents are meant for us to give them away. So, like you said, I'm Success. I'm from Los Angeles, California, born from Compton. My full name is Success Godis, Godis, and my last name is Money. And I did legally change that in 2008 after having a dinner with Dr. Kwesi at a Kwanzaa dinner, where he said you should name yourself, you should name your children what you want them to become, what you want them to aspire to, because whatever you speak is very, very powerful. So I do have 5 children, and my youngest name is Serenity. My 10-year-old is Awesome. My 11-year-old is Amazing. And Awesome middle name is God. It's Awesome God.
Wow.
Amazing King, Sky, and Divinity. And everyone is just like, wow. And, I definitely see a difference because they're straight A students. I'm not saying that they listen and hear and do every time I say, but overall, I would say I'm blessed to have, some beautiful kids. So being able to have the intention in your mindset, I don't say they're bad. I don't think they're bad.
Right.
Everyone has a learning curve, and we just have to develop more patience and understanding with everyone.
Yes, that's real.
It's beautiful.
That is real.
You have 5 kids.
I do.
5 children. That is wonderful.
Yes, Lord.
Reverend Ron, are you?
I
would you
am-
like to close out?
I
something?
am enamored and overjoyed to be in the company of such great and powerful human beings assembled in the radio station and outside. Brother Abbey, Sister Angela, Sister Marilyn Taylor from El Paso, and Sister Elise Coffee, and others who may have been there that I did not see. I want to thank all of you for your essential and critical and participation in today's learning encounter. Thank you very much. I am always trying to teach a better lesson than the one I taught before. That is my goal in life, to be clearer, to be more articulate, to be more uh, to do more researching, to inspire, to excite people to higher levels of spiritual consciousness. That is my goal in life, and to build what Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King referred to as the beloved community
Yes.
around the globe, not just among African Americans, but
Yes.
among people of all ethnic expressions. We all belong to life. Life brought us all here, and if we can take time to commit ourselves to multitasking, which means taking care of ourselves and taking care of the world. I believe that that people of our color do that very well. In fact, we have taken care of other people more than we have taken care of ourselves. But that's what I'm committed to help people to reach their best self in this way. And thank you very much for your participation, Lillian.
And thank you everyone for joining us today. We are here every Sunday at 1 o'clock. And this is actually a work in progress. So in the future, the times may be adjusted, but we will always make sure that we let you know what time we're going to have our enlightenment gathering. Normally going to be at 1 o'clock, but like I said, it's a work in progress. But we thank you all for listening. Thank you to Reverend Clarence Landry, who provided this opportunity. Thank you to General Manager Paul Randall, who is at who's our engineer, who's at the board working hard. And thank you for success, whom God sent into this radio station today to be with us. It has been such a pleasure to meet you and to get to know you for this hour and 45 minutes that we've been together.
Awesome.
So for the rest of you out there in Houston and Radio Land, we love you. We love you because God first loved us.
Yes.
And that is what,
Yes.
that was the greatest commandment
Yes.
that God spoke through Jesus the Christ, through Moses and then Jesus the Christ, who learned from the elders.
Yes.
And so I encourage you to go
Yes.
out and be good to somebody. Go out into the world and well, first of all, do your work. Do your emotional work. If you have childhood trauma, I'm going to take this opportunity to talk about this. If you have childhood trauma and you know it, find someone safe to share and process that childhood trauma with. I realize that not everyone can afford a psychiatrist or a psychologist, a psychotherapist, but find someone that is safe, someone that you trust to share that trauma with, because you deserve to have the best life you can possibly have. You deserve not to wake up every morning with anger. You deserve to have peace. And so I encourage you to find and be the peace that you want to see in this world. With that said, I pray that the light of God surrounds you, the love of God enfolds you, the power of God protects you, and the presence of God watch over you. Remember, wherever you are, God is, and all is well. Amen.
Reverend Landry, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Happy birthday. Should I sing you the D flat or B flat? And I need somebody to do the second part harmony.
I'll try to pick up the
Are
slack.
you musically equipped?
I can do the James Brown.
Go ahead.
I didn't ask if you could dance. I asked if you musically. See, most of us can dance.
I think we still on the air too, huh, Paul? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Reverend Ron. Happy birthday to you. And many more. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday, Reverend Ron. Happy birthday to you. All right.
Y'all gonna make me cry.
Awesome,
Thank you,
awesome,
guys.
awesome,
Thank you,
awesome.
thank you, thank
He said, where 2 or 3 gathered in my name,
you.
right?
That's right.
Ain't no silly building.
No,
No,
no, no. You
Yeah,
know,
this is good.
you know that 2 or 3.
that's right.
I did some research years ago, Reverend, on that, and boy, it's deep. Somehow Jesus understood that it doesn't take a whole lot of people to change things.
No.
Yeah.
So it only takes 2 or 3,
That's all it takes.
and 2 or 3 is metaphorical
Mm-hmm.
for a small group.
Yes.
It
Yes.
doesn't. He wasn't referring to a literal 2 or 3.
That's
He was,
correct.
he was suggesting that the quantity of the group
Yes.
does not necessarily determine the
No.
quality of the work.
No.
But it's 2 or 3.
It's
1, 2,
that's
3,
right.
4,
That's right.
5 people in there.
That's
We
right.
at church.
We at church.
Yeah, yeah, we did.
Yes.
Church without walls.
Yes.
That's
Thank
right.
you guys for tuning in. We're going to get into a couple other things.
Awesome.
So
Awesome.
stay
Awesome.
tuned,
Awesome.
like this, share this, comment.
Thank you, Paul.
Love you.
Oh, no problem. Thank you, Paul. That's the bishop over there.
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Bishop Paul Ron.
So, remember, the exchange between us, I thought it was good.
Oh,
That's excellent.
TJ said happy birthday.
Oh, okay.
He
Is
likes the definition.
That's
Yeah, I
such a
was
good-
live on a few platforms. So thank you guys for tuning in,
Yeah.
and I will come back with you.
What?